Bible study from the greatest man who ever lived, chapter 29, Doing Good Works on the Sabbath. It is the spring of 31 CE, and a few months have passed since Jesus spoke to the woman at the well in Samaria while en route from Judea to Galilee. Now, after teaching extensively throughout Galilee, Jesus again leaves for Judea, where he preaches in the synagogues. And compared with the attention the Bible gives to his Galilean ministry, it tells little of Jesus' activity in Judea during this visit and during the months he spent here following the previous Passover. But evidently his ministry did not receive as favorable a response in Judea as it did in Galilee. Now soon Jesus is on his way to Judea's principal city, Jerusalem, for the Passover of 31 CE. Here, near the city's sheep gate, it is the pool called Bethesda, where many sick, blind, and lame come. They believe that people can be healed by getting into the waters of the pool when these are agitated. Now, it is the Sabbath, and Jesus sees a man at the pool who has been sick for 38 years. Being aware of the long duration of the man's sickness, Jesus says this, "Do you want to become sound in health?" He answers Jesus saying this, "Sir, I do not have a man to put me into the pool when the water is disturbed, but while I am coming, another steps down ahead of me." So Jesus says this to him, "Get up, pick up your cot, and walk." With that, the man immediately becomes sound in his body, picks up his cot, and begins to walk. But when the Jews see the man, they say, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry the cot." The man answers them by saying this, "The very one that made me sound in health said to me, 'Pick up your cot and walk.'" "Who is the man that told you, 'Pick it up and walk'?" they asked. And Jesus had turned aside because of the crowd, and the one who was healed did not know actually Jesus' name. So later, however, Jesus and the man meet in the temple, and the man learns who he is, actually. So the healed man finds the Jews to tell them that it is in fact Jesus who has made him sound in his body. On learning this, the Jews go straight to Jesus. For what reason? To learn by what means he is able to do these wonderful things. Oh no, but to find fault with him because he is doing these good things on the Sabbath, and they even begin persecuting him. Now for this chapter, we're going to have two readings. One is from the book of Luke 4:44 and John chapter 5, 1 through 16. This chapter has 3 questions, and the first one is this: about how long has it been since Jesus last visited Judea? Number 2, why is the pool that is called Bethesda so popular? Number 3, what miracle does Jesus perform at the pool, and what is the reaction of the Jews? This is your host. So this is Teachable Moments with April podcast Bible study for the greatest man who ever lived, chapter 29, Doing Good Works on the Sabbath. So this is the Bible verse portion, and we're going to be looking at first Luke 4:44 as well as John chapter 5, 1 through 16. Alright, so Luke 4:44. Accordingly, he went on preaching in the synagogues of Judea. And lastly, John 5, 1 through 16. After these things, there was the festival of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now in Jerusalem at the sheep gate, there is a pool, designated in Hebrew as Bethesda, with 5 colonnades. In these, a multitude of the sick, the blind, the lame, and those with withered members was lying down. But a certain man was there who had been in the sickness for 38 years. Seeing this man lying down and being aware that he had already been sick a long time, Jesus said to him, "Do you want to become sound in health?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I do not have a man to put me into the pool when the water is disturbed, while I am coming another steps down ahead of me." So then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your cot, and walk." With that, the man immediately became sound in health, and he picked up his cot and began to walk. Now on that day it was a Sabbath. Therefore the Jews began to say to the cured man, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry the cot." But he answered them, "The very one that made me sound in health said to me, 'Pick up my cot and walk.'" And they asked him, "Who is the man that told you, 'Pick it up and walk'?" But the healed man did not know who he was, for Jesus had turned aside, there being a crowd in the place. After these things, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you have become sound in health. Do not sin anymore, in order that something worse does not happen to you." And the man went away and told the Jews it was Jesus that made him sound in health. Verse 16. So on this account the Jews went persecuting Jesus, because he was doing these things during the Sabbath. You were just listening to Teachable Moments with April podcast. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode. We invite you to stay connected with us on our other social media platforms: TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and now Rumble. You can also leave us feedback in 3 ways: in the Interact features section on the Spotify app, voice messages to the podcast through our customized link, or at teachablemomentswithapril@gmail.com.